Welcome back to the podcast. Today, we want to know if you are tired of worrying.
Welcome to the Shift Happens podcast, where we talk about navigating the lighter side of life's challenges.
I'm Robin McIntyre, a certified life and transitions coach.
And I'm Monique Eckes, the question asker, asking questions that I'm sure you on the other side of the podcast are thinking. All right, worrying. I mean, we all worry.
We do.
You actually have some things you can tell us about worrying?
Yeah, well, for one, it just robs our joy.
Oh, okay. Just right out of the gate, robs our joy.
I want to give you all the reasons to pay attention to why we shouldn't do this as much.
Yeah, good feelings gone.
Yeah.
I want my joy back. All right.
Yes, worry. And most of these things, as I've said before, and you probably know, I teach what I've either needed to learn myself or I'm working on myself.
Gotcha.
So yeah, worry is just something that can take up a lot of time, a lot of energy. It stresses our bodies so bad. When we're up, you think about fight, flight, or freeze.
Yes.
Those three things, when we worry, it can shut us down pretty fast, depending on how much we worry. Just like if we're concentrating on the past too much, worry takes us forward, and then there's nothing going on in the present for us. So we miss out on a lot of joy. Yeah, a lot of things.
Oh, and I find myself actually doing this. I just thought of a new example, like about to go on a trip.
Yes.
I'm worried about the trip 3 days in advance, and I'm not doing what I need to be doing right now and being with the people I want to be with right now. And so I've had a lot of that in mind this week.
So the anticipation.
Yeah, anticipatory worry.
Yeah, it kind of takes you out a little bit.
It does.
Yes.
Yeah, so I had to really pull myself back in this last week. So, okay, all right, I'm seeing some places that I can improve, and I've been trying.
Yes.
Yeah.
This can be like, I'll never change. I'll never be able to, I'll never be able to lose the weight. I'll never be as good a mom as what I want to be. I mean, we could go on endless lists, right? Of all the things we worry about. We worry about money. We worry about our health. We worry about, they're all things we want to pay attention to.
Yeah, yeah.
So we don't want to discount any of the things that we need to pay attention to. But the thing that's interesting to me is the fear that we feel, the action we take when we feel fear is worry. So if we are only worrying, if we're only worrying, it again kind of puts you in that freeze mode. We're just stuck in this loop of worry.
Yes.
So when we think, okay, I need to figure something out so it doesn't get to that point, that's the step that we want to watch for instead of staying stuck in just worry.
Okay, like if I'm worried about my trip because I think I'm going to forget to pack something.
Yeah.
Then there's, obviously I can take care of that.
Yeah.
Do you think this kind of comes into when we say, I'm stressed out?
Yeah.
I'm stressed out. I'm stressed out.
Yeah.
That's probably part of it too.
Right. Yeah. There's a fear mixed in there.
Yeah.
And again, this just reminds me so much, Monique, of what did we just do in the last couple of days? One of the podcasts that we did. Trusting yourself is key. When we are in fear and we're worrying, it takes us out of faith, and that can be faith-based religious-wise. It can be just a spiritual faith. It can be I believe in myself. Whatever that means. It just takes us out of possibility when all we do is stress on or focus on the worry.
Okay.
I'm so worried. I'm so, a lot of us play that. And chronic worry, by the way, really is the habit of worrying.
The habit of worrying.
Yes.
Oh, ooh.
Okay, so we can go into Drama Buster episode. There's just so many things that bring it up. It's human. We want to normalize it, but we also want to say a lot of people are self-proclaimed. Is that what I want to say? Self-proclaimed worriers.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm just a worrier. I just worry about everybody, and it's like almost a dutiful thing. Like I'm a really good person because I'm worried about everybody.
Yeah.
So, and maybe that's subconscious, but it's something that we don't want to have in our body all the time.
Right. Okay. And like when we talk about energy, it's lower down.
Yes.
Right.
Oh yeah. When we're worried, we're in doubt.
Yeah.
Right? We're not trusting. We might be feeling sorry for ourselves or or we might be blaming people. You never know. But yes, in the 7 levels of energy, that is a lower energy to be coming from, and it's not productive.
Right.
You know, we're not going to say it's bad because there's pros and cons to each level, but we don't want to live in level 1 and level 2 energy.
And I think, you know, where our mind goes, that's what's going to happen. You know,
self-fulfilling prophecy.
Maybe I just will forget that thing because that's all I'm thinking about doing is forgetting the thing.
Yes.
Yeah, not the thing, but forgetting it.
Yes.
Right? Ooh.
Can we use part of your session the other day about when you were trying to prepare for your trip?
Okay.
And what you were avoiding the panic. You knew that you were starting to worry a little bit. Will I get all these things done before I go? Will I want to be responsible for all my clients and my customers and whatever I need to do, and I'm kind of getting worried because these things are getting bigger and bigger.
And I have this much time.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So you got into solution quickly because you felt it coming.
Yeah. Right? Because I'm looking at my calendar going, well, there's only, there's blocks. There's this white space, this one. I don't know if that's enough time.
Yeah.
So we just went into action mode.
Yeah. And and it was great because you all it was, you had all your own answers, but we just helped you organize it in this conversation where you when you were done, you're like, I don't need to worry now. Everything is in a place on the calendar, and now I can trust.
Yeah.
Now I can trust that it can get all done because we just did this prep work.
Yes. And okay, so we came up with a little mantra for myself. I have plenty of time. I have plenty of time because I had literally put it on my calendar. We're skipping ahead a little bit to what to do when it comes to worry. I want to make sure that we hit on all the ways that we can feel it in ourselves and the cons of it too.
Yes.
Because we kind of gave a little bit of how to take care of that and be more productive. Especially when maybe we're worrying about things that we don't have to spend time worrying about and energy worrying about at that moment. Obviously, we all have worry. It's interesting to me that we wrote this list of ways that we know that there's like a sign. And perfectionism, that we just did an episode on perfectionism.
Yes.
That coming at it from that angle, also mind-blowing.
Right. Yeah. It's everywhere. We all worry on some level.
Yeah.
But the traits of a warrior.
Traits. Okay.
Yeah, traits of a warrior, or they could be an attitude of a warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah. So uncertainty for sure.
Okay.
Okay. The better we are at being okay, I guess that means the same thing. The better we are at being okay, and knowing that we can handle whatever comes. That is what can help with worry a lot, because if we're somebody that doesn't like uncertainty, when we try to control things, a lot of this goes back to our perfection episode. So it's about, I'm so worried that I've got to do everything I can to make sure that this is exactly how we need it to be.
Ooh, right.
Yeah. Hypervigilance.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same. Just overthinking. All the things, we're just trying to make sure there's no holes and there's nowhere for anything to go wrong.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What comes to mind is sometimes the helicopter parent.
Yeah.
You know, where we're hovering way too much too close.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a story about that too.
Yeah.
Would this be a good time for the story?
Yeah.
We're all over the place anyway, so we're just going to go with it.
No, we're fine. This is perfect. I want to hear the story.
So hovering parent, I had one of my sons in high school was really struggling, and I want to say it was math, but I'm not even sure it was the subject, because we just had a lot of round and round about school. He didn't love school. He loved to be at school, but not the school, not doing the school work. And I found out, I believe it was in his junior or senior year, that one of his teachers I used to work with. We both got married young, and then we lost track of each other. So her last name didn't ring a bell. And anyway, we meet up for teacher conferences. And so I felt very at home with her, and I just said, oh my gosh, Deanna, I'm just so stressed, and my son this and my son that, and I just wanted to be okay, and I wanted to make it. And of course, because of that and the perfection stuff I already talked about in the other episode, my son probably thought I thought the worst. And it was all about, I'm a bad parent if he doesn't do well.
Oh, right.
So talk about self-doubt of myself and my husband's parenting skills. You know, the shame, the guilt. We're doing something wrong because he's struggling. And if I would have known, even after she said this, I'm not sure I took it all the way in, but she said, Robin, he's going to be just fine. He learns differently. So maybe the way I teach has not been good for him, or the way so-and-so across the hall teaches. I thought, oh, I wish I would have had those tools sooner.
Oof, yeah.
Because between worrying and thinking everything had to be perfect, I really did my kids a pretty big disservice. And I've done a lot of work around that. I'm not beating myself up anymore, but it's hard to know that and see that. But it definitely brings out the doubt, some anxiety, overthinking everything. And just, I had gloom and doom over, is my son going to make it? And I'm so proud of him now. Both of my sons. But
and they were okay.
They were okay. And then there's that fine line too. Yes, we need to pay attention.
Yeah.
And we need to stay with the discipline things and all the things we try to do to help them be good students. But she adored him. She adored him. And I was that just warmed my heart going, I'm glad she knew that. I'm so sorry I didn't know that. You're going to be okay. So, yeah.
Oh, good.
So,
my example is probably fairly similar. Well, my mom's a huge worrier. And, I do want to preface too, like when we're talking about worry, this is your everyday run-of-the-mill worry, not like a diagnosis of anxiety.
Yes.
This is different, right?
Thank you for pointing that out.
So I don't know where my mom lands in there, but worried about absolutely everything. It really held us back from a lot of stuff. And of course, I soaked that up and I became a worrier, with my kids too. And I have just, for 30 years, I've worked on that. When I thought I was doing better, and I met my husband now, and he thought I was really a worrier because he's so chill with his kids, and they are amazing. They're amazing, and they're doing just fine. So that I have kind of the similar story when we're over worrying. Is that a thing?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what we're talking about here too.
Yeah.
Is a little worry is great and normal. It keeps you paying attention. But if it's really a thing in your life, and your body can tell you that, because if you're stressed all the time, your body knows it. And you've probably already raised your hand if you feel like you over worry.
I think, yes. But this is great because now I can maybe catch it.
That's the idea.
Right?
Yes.
And I think
catch yourself.
I just thought of another example.
Yeah.
Can I give you another example? Okay. So I haven't done a lot of like winter sports, and I had gone with this group of women, this woman who explore, and we're going to go snow tubing. This is a couple years ago now. And I wasn't like sure what to wear and layers and what's it going to be like and what boots and is it going to be really steep and scary? And I was getting into that like almost too much worry. Like, I don't even think I'll even do it.
Talking myself
like this whole self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm going to tumble out of this thing and land in a snow pile. Right. And I had to like reel myself in and go, no, this is going to be fun. All these other ladies have done this. This is a safe place. It was a business that did this. So they all knew what they were doing, and I can ease myself into like the bunny slope. And so I had to really talk myself down from over worrying about every single thing, especially because there was a group of us. And I had a blast. But I really was worried there.
Yeah. Well, and so good you reversed it, because it's so easy. I mean, even if you just look back on that experience, I would have missed out.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, I
mean, you had fun because you just trusted.
Okay, we talked about the downfalls of having excessive worry. We talked about traits of a worrier. And I know you have some things that you want to tell us to help get us out of that, but it's always better, as you say, to kind of know why we want to get out of that.
Why it's important to not be a chronic worrier.
How can it be different for us?
Yeah. So now I'm talking chronic worrier, and again, I'm labeling it, but it's just my way of saying, if you're in the habit of intensive worry, I'm going to call it chronic worrier. So that becomes an identity. I'm just someone who worries all the time.
Yeah.
So when we want to get out of that, it's like what you need to see is, okay, this is how I'm used to being all this time. Is I've always been a worrier, so I'm going to be a worrier. Okay, so that becomes an identity. But what you need to ask yourself, if you do feel the stress, so again, how serious is this? If it's intense and serious and chronic, your body's going to be feeling all this stress. Okay, because every time we worry, your body's trying to figure out what it's going to do. All it knows is it can feel the stress, and your body responds to stress, and not in a good way. So we don't want to be stressed, but we want to ask, how could my life be different if I did trust more and I wasn't worried all the time?
So something for you to think about, especially in whatever area that your worry lands.
Yes.
Most.
Yes.
Or just at that moment, I would suppose. Like, how would this situation or my life in general be better
If I didn't
with
worry
less
so much.
worry?
Yeah.
Oh.
And back to the kids.
Okay.
Here's something that this was another 2x4 for me, and it came way too late.
Oh.
So if you're a mama out there still raising them, this is for you. When we worry too much and try to, what do I want to, manage?
Micromanage? Yeah.
When we want to micromanage our kids,
Yeah.
we are not letting them do their journey.
Yes.
We
true.
are trying to control their journey. Now, when they're little, there's, we know that there's,
safety.
We know safety and steps and things like that. But that really helped me, even when my kids being grown men, is it's like, don't take that from them. That's their journey. Those are their things to figure out. We keep them from burning their hand on the stove and from getting in car wrecks and things like that. But the other things we got to just let go. How would it be if I gave my kids some more space? What could our relationship look like if they didn't feel like I didn't trust them to know what was best for them?
Yeah.
That's another really big piece of that. Yeah. Who could I be?
Who could I be? How could life be?
How could life be?
Okay.
And if I am not a chronic worrier, who am I?
Ooh.
I'm somebody that's learned to trust in myself, other people, the process. Much nicer feeling, much higher energy levels.
And I think that's just, it would be a nice comparison. So if I'm going through this worry, like my, snow tubing, what's that called? Snow tubing?
Tubing, I think.
Tubing.
Yeah.
Okay. When I'm going through my tubing, instead of only envisioning the worst, could I envision the best?
Yeah.
Can I envision
different.
loving this and getting joy out of it? What would that be like? What if?
Even when you just said that, I imagined you over here fretting versus I saw you over here just arms up. Yay!
Yeah.
So it's just even asking yourself the words
Yeah.
and having a little visual playing can completely answer your question.
I love it. All right. So before we give you a practical tip and Robin's famous one-liner, we're going to stop for our sponsor break. And Robin has something brand new for a sponsor break.
So this is a freebie. This is a download that's a freebie. And it is about worry. It's about navigating worry with confidence. So, and you don't have to be a chronic big time worrier to get something out of this, but it's just a fun worksheet that you could use as a template anytime you find in yourself, okay, I am overthinking, I'm just overdoing my worry. You could just pull out copies of your worksheet and do these three different things. So it's a small framework for how to be more confident when you feel worried.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah, because then you can find out what would life be like if I wasn't a worrier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't even seen this yet. I'll have to download.
No, you haven't.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you, sponsor. We're going to leave it at that. I want you to download it as well. Use it. Let us know what you think.
Yep. It's at robinmcintyre.com. And it'll be in the show notes.
In the show notes,
Yeah.
of course.
Link is in the show notes.
Everything.
And so are
Always
my
in the
other
show
freebies.
That's right. We put them all over the place. You can't miss it. You can't miss it.
Scroll down.
All right. Famous one-liner.
Yeah, famous one-liner. This one I've said before, I believe, in another podcast, but
it's important.
So powerful. It's, what if I'm okay, no matter where I am, who I'm with, or what's going on around me? It's all about trust.
Yeah.
And if you're taking your brain in that direction, I am a person who. I'm okay where I am. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. I can handle it. We don't have to like it. It can feel itchy or scary, but we can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that just feels so much better to me than, oh my gosh, if that happened, I don't know what I'd do, or I can't handle this, or I can't. How many times have we said that? I can't handle this, and if this happened, I could never handle that.
Oh my gosh.
Your brain has nowhere to go with that except, okay, you're right.
You're right. Let's fall apart now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an extreme example, but not that I've been there.
Me neither.
I love that.
I do too. And I want to share that out as much as I can because it is a mantra that if we practice that and we are a person who, can have that kind of trust. If something crazy happens, it happens. But at least we're calm enough to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Worry less. Trust more.
Hey, that's a sticker. I like that. Okay, so an action step. So when you are done listening to the podcast, what is something that people can go do to help with this?
Download my freebie.
Yes.
Work the worksheet.
Yes.
Really, it's simple. It makes you think, but in a good way.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's really, really important with this or any other thing you're trying to change in your life, because it is an identity piece. Mm-hmm. If you are somebody that worries a lot, you probably label yourself as I'm a worrier. Mm-hmm. So we have to decide we don't want to be that anymore.
Okay.
It has to be a decision first, because no strategy matters if you haven't made a decision.
It sounds simple, doesn't it?
It is so simple.
It actually works.
Yeah.
Actually works.
Yeah.
Instead of like, the next time you're like, oh, I'm just a worrier. Yeah. Oh, wait, am I?
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's so good. And it can be, it's kind of like having a story. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm just a worrier. And it can be a badge of honor for some people. Uh-huh. It means I care more, all the things. So, so it's just a question of how do you want to see yourself? How do you want to show up differently? Yeah. And what does it take to do it? Practice.
I love it. Practice. I bet people around you will notice too when you take on a different identity from that.
I hope my family's noticed. Yeah. Because I do. I've just...
Yeah, it feels better.
Yeah, I think a lot. My husband hears a lot, but I literally just remember, just work my side of the street. Yeah. Just work, what can I control?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thanks for listening and watching. And remember, shift happens.
Shift happens.
But Robin right here,
I'm here to help,
is here for you. Everything that we talked about is on the show notes of either YouTube or your podcast app, but the best place to find everything is on the website.
My spelling of my name is robinmcintire.com, ROBINMCINTIRE. So all eyes. The podcast you can find there. Yeah. If you go to the podcast page, and then right at the top you have Spotify, you have iTunes, you have YouTube, so you can go straight from there. And we would love to have you subscribe. If you're getting value, please leave a review. That's a way for us to help grow the episodes and the podcast.
And reach more people. All right.
Yeah. So thank you for being here. We appreciate you. We want your feedback. We want your suggestions. Yeah. So we're looking out.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Ciao. Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao.